You could see that the bars are very similar. Right? You can see that the bars are the same, not even similar. They are the same. Look at their height. All right. The only difference is that this is just giving us a total revenue without showing us the subcategories. All right. Now the stack ones is giving us the subcategories. Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson with Pavkov. Today we'll be looking at inserting charts in Microsoft Excel as part of our tutorials on introduction to Microsoft Excel for beginners. Now in today's lesson, we'll be looking specifically at bar charts. Alright, so we'll be looking at how to insert various types or various forms of bar charts. So the first we'll be looking at will be our vertical bar chart. But first of all, in talk of the vertical bar chart, you know that the vertical bar chart is the most common type of bar chart. Okay, so as we go ahead, you know that these are this is the type of bar chart that we mostly see or work with. Alright. Now when it comes to the bar chart also, we know that each bar, alright, each bar represents a category. And we know that whether being it vertical or horizontal, the height or the length of the bar represents the quantitative value of that category, right? So without much ado, looking at the first one, that's the vertical bar chart, we are going to look at the various expenses for the various months, right? So we're looking at the total expenses for the various months, and to be able to compare these values, we're going to use the bar chart, all right? So first of all, I'll select the month, all right? Then I'll also select the total expenses, all right? So my control shift and arrow key right help me highlight everything. Then I hold my control and also highlight these ones. All right, sorry. So I hold my control and I highlight this one, and I go to insert. Now insert, when I come to the charts bar over here, I can see several charts or recommended charts. You can go here and we see various recommended charts. You can come here for bar charts. All right. So today we are working bar charts. So I go here. All right. Now I'm looking at a vertical bar chart, right? And I know that with the vertical bar chart, each category is represented on a vertical bar rising from the x-axis, right? So that would be something like this. Right, so we know that this is the x-axis over here. Then we have the x-axis contains the month, the January, February, March, and the y-axis contains the values. Right, so as you can see over here. So this is a typical example of a vertical bar chart. Alright. Now, after getting this bar chart, let's say we can further format it to a style that we like. So for example, when it comes to the numbering, the month and everything, if we want to change anything, we can do so and change it over here. So in doing so, we can also come here, this plus sign over here, and add or remove additional chart elements. So when we talk of chart elements, we are talking of the axes, the titles, the data labels, data table, error bars, legend, and trend lines. Right. So for example, I can add a data table here. All right, data table. So then I can see the various and the data attributable to each of the months. All right. So when I expand the chart, you can see it given over here. Or better still, I can also go ahead and remove some axes. Alright, so maybe I want to remove the data table, but I want to display the various values on each of the bars, and that's where I go to my data labels and I can click on it. Or better still, I can come to the arrow here, right, and choose how I want it to be on the chart, whether center, whether inside the end, whether outside the end, or maybe using data callouts, right? So I can all do that over here, and that's part of like formatting your chart to look more presentable. All right, so that's it for the vertical chart. It's very simple. Now with the horizontal charts also, we'll be using the same data. All right, now when we talk of the horizontal bar chart, all right, looking at the vertical, we know that the values or the bars sprouted from the x-axis, or west, let's say we're standing or erected on the x-axis. Now for the horizontal bar chart, the bar extends horizontally from the y-axis. Alright, they extend horizontally from the y-axis with the length representing the values. Alright, with the length representing the values. Alright, so with the same ideology from the first one, I select the various months, and I also hold my control, then select the corresponding total expenses, and I go to insert, right? Then I come to bars over here. Now looking at the horizontal bar chart, we are seeing that the bars extend horizontally from the y-axis. So that's it over here, right? So you can have a 2D bar or you can have a 3D bar. Alright, so this instance, let's use the 3D. Now, if we use the 3D, this is how our horizontal bar chart looks like. So with this one, we have the months on the vertical axis, that's the y-axis. Then we have the values on the y-axis. All right, exactly. So same with how do you call it? What we did for the vertical axis, we can come here. All right, and can add or take away some elements, or we can also change the style. All right, so when we come, we have various styles that we can choose from. All right, and the same styles can be seen up here. Sorry, the same styles can be seen up here, where we can choose from several styles that we want. Okay, all right. So this is how you also insert a bar chart in Microsoft Excel. All right, now looking at a bar chart or a horizontal bar chart like this, okay, you can see that the layout is very useful when we are dealing with long category labels that may not fit neatly beneath, let's say, the vertical bars. All right, and it's also beneficial when the data is intended to be read in a rank or, let's say, other format, right, such as, let's say, top performing products, or let's survey rank by preference. All right, exactly. So looking at the bar charts, we know that automatically immediately we see any bar, all right, any bar being the longest, all right. That gives us a fair idea that if we are dealing with expenses, that will be, so for example, if you're looking at this bar chart, you can see that for the month of March has the longest bar over here, giving us that the month total, out of the total expenses, most of the expenses were from the month of March, as well as, let's say, then the next one will be July, then from December. All right, because for in talking of a chart, all right, immediately we look at the chart, we should be able to make informed decisions, or maybe be able to deduce a meaningful outcome from it. All right, so that's it also for our horizontal chart. Now the next we'll be looking at is what we call a clustered bar chart, or let's say a group bar chart. So when we talk of a clustered bar chart or a group bar chart, we are looking at um, a bar chart where we have various subcategories within a main category. So for example, looking at this vertical chart, you can see that we have January, right? We just have one bar without any subcategories. So the main category here is, let's say, January. With the cluster bar chart, let's say in January, all right, we have three, let's say three business units or three products which were bringing in those expenses, all right, bringing in such expenses. So maybe we can go ahead and also present those subcategories on the same bar chart, and that's where what brings us to a group bar chart or a cluster bar chart. All right, so with a cluster bar chart, we'll be using this data. That one was also extracted from the main data that we have over here. All right, so with this data we have various business units, and we are looking at the expenses from each business unit, or let's say the revenue from each business unit for the subsequent years. All right, now with this data, we know that we can even compute a normal bar chart from it, looking at so for example, if we're looking at a normal bar chart from being a vertical horizontal bar chart, I can go ahead and find the total. All right, so I'm looking at the total revenue, or let's say total expenses for each business unit. All right, so I can sum everything all equal to, all right, and I can get for all the various years. So I can go ahead and bold in it. Now from here, if I want to construct a normal bar chart, a normal vertical bar chart, looking at the revenue from all the business units for the subsequent years, I can go ahead, hold my control shift, select this, and I can hold control and also select the total revenue. Right, and I can go to my insert, and insert, let me this time let me use a 3D chart. So with this one, we can see that we are seeing business units over here, which shouldn't be there. So as I said, we can come here, right? So this fund over here helps us edit the data point and the name visible on the chart. All right. Now I don't want to bring the business unit over here because that's not what I'm doing. I'm telling it only the total. All right. So I can come here the series and untick business unit. All right. Immediately I apply, you can see that business unit is not there anymore. Now, as you keep on inserting your chart, there can be instances where instead of the years you'll be seeing this numbering over here, right? So in that scenario, so I can come here, this one over here, chart filters, and I come to select data, right? Immediately I come to select data, the horizontal category here, that's the axis label, right? I can edit it. And if I'm editing it, I have to select the range, right, representing those categories. So I highlight and I select the range and I hit OK. Nearly I hit OK, you can see that these numbers have changed to the subsequent years. And I can also come here and edit this place. Then maybe I want to change it to okay. So this place total okay. So total that's okay. Then I hit my OK. Nearly I hit my OK. You can see that these the numbering over here has changed the subsequent years, right? That's what you can see. So this is a normal um, vertical bar chart, right? Now we want to go ahead and look at the cluster bar chart where we also include the various subcategories, right? That's being it whether it's an advertising business unit, hardware or software business unit, so that we can know that for each year which business unit brought in more revenue. All right. So I can go ahead. Let me put this over here. Now, in doing so, I highlight this. So I highlight all the data, excluding the total. Right. Now with this one, instead of going to the insert then bar chart, you can see this over here. That's quick analysis. So control Q will give you that. Alright, and I can just go to charts. Alright, then I can go to cluster columns. Right, I can go to cluster column. That's one way of doing that. Alright, okay. Or better still, I can go to my insert, then I go to my bar chart over here. Alright, and I can go to cluster column which one, so that's a 2D. So maybe if I prefer the 3D, I can come here and select it. So now you can see that under each category, so for example under category 1, I'm seeing 3 bars over here, right? 3 bars, and these legends over here are giving us um, the names of those bars or what those bars represent. So I can first go ahead and make a little edit on it. So what I want to first look at is business unit shouldn't be here. So I can come here. Sorry, I go to select data, then I want to business unit. And I also want to change the numbering to the subsequent year. So I go to select data. Alright, and I edit. So here I select the corresponding range. I hit OK. Click this and I can go ahead and hit OK. Maybe I do that. You can see that I'm seeing the legend for only advertising, hardware, and software business. So even from this chart, it's a quick glance at it. I can see that most of the revenue for each year came from the advertising business unit. Oh, sorry, I think I have to correct the horizontal axis. Okay, so I'll go to select data. Okay, so let me try it once more. So let me delete this. Alright, then let me select the range again. And I hit OK. Alright, so it's done now. So you can see the various years over here, right? So this is pure example of a clustered or a group bar chart. So I can also go ahead and format it. So maybe I want to change this place to, let's say, um, revenue per business unit. Alright, so you can see the various revenue coming from the various business units. So if I'm to compare these two, that's the vertical bar chart that we did earlier, and the so this is total revenue. Total revenue, and this is the revenue per business unit, right? So this a cluster, where we are looking at the various subcategories of, let's say, a main category. So the main categories are the revenues for each year, and the subcategories are given as per the various business units. So that's how we go about with that one. So the next one we'll also be looking at the next and last one will be the stacked bar chart. All right. Now with a stacked bar chart also, okay. When we talk of a stacked bar chart, it's a variation, okay, where let's say subcategories are stacked on top of one another within a singular bar. So for a stacked one, we have, let's say, one singular bar for a specific year. But if you are looking at the various business units, instead of them being side by side, we stack them together on the same bar. All right. Now the chart helps us to visualize both the total amount and the composition of each category, providing insight into how individual parts contribute to the whole. So using the same data, I can go ahead and select all the data, and I go to, so my control Q, and I come to charts. Now over here I come to stack column. All right, and I can just hit on it, and you can see it's over here. All right. So let me change this to total revenue. Okay, total revenue. So I change this to total revenue. Now you can see that this is giving us the total revenue for each year. So for 2012, 2018, 2014, and if we are to compare it to the normal one that we did over here, right? So let me just copy it and bring it over here. Let me just put it over here. All right. So if you are to compare these side by side, you could see that the bars are very similar. Right? You can see that the bars are the same, not even similar. They are the same. Look at their height. All right. The only difference is that this is just giving us a total revenue without showing us the subcategories. All right. Now the stacked ones is giving us the subcategories. So we can see that even from this, right, you could see that the bars are very similar. Right? You can see that the bars are the same, not even similar. They are the same. Look at their height. All right. The only difference is that this is just giving us a total revenue without showing us the subcategories. All right. Now the stacked ones is giving us the subcategories. The gray portions are greater for all months, and the gray portion represents software business unit. So even from this, we can see that okay, the total for 2012 is this, right? But software business unit gives us the most of the total revenue coming in for those years, and it cuts across the various how do you call it, the various years. Right. So this is how you can also go ahead and insert a stacked bar chart, and what the purpose of doing that. All right. Now what you also have to keep in mind is that whenever you are dealing with charts, okay, you have to know when to use a specific chart. And for bar charts, one most important thing you should be mindful of is that use a bar chart when you are comparing categories, right? Being it nominal or let's say ordinal data, right? And also want to highlight differences in quantity, all right? Difference in quantity, because the bar chart easily, or it helps us to easily know trends or patterns across a group of data, or even within a data, right? Now one basic thing about bar chart you should know is, I should have said this from the beginning, when creating a bar chart, you know that we just leave spaces between each of the bars, all right? And I think that makes it one of the big difference between a bar chart and another chart that we'll be looking at in our subsequent video, which is called the histogram. All right, so thank you very much for today. All right, see you in the next video.